whenever you're ready to start, I'm good. And then I got to bounce.
Yeah,
I got,
I
all
say
right.
let's go ahead and start. We're 4 minutes late because my error. Good
All
morning,
right.
everyone. It's Monday, and I think we've fixed all our technical difficulties. So Andrew will kick it off with a quick market update, and then he's gonna jump off actually after that.
Awesome, guys. So if you can see my screen, I'm assuming you can.
I can. Yep.
So today's a little different. This is actually a tool you guys can use. This is just a simple Google search of today's my rates. And if you scroll down a couple of after you see like the Rocket Mortgage and the bank rate listings, this little calculator pops up and it's pretty darn accurate. So for you to get a good gauge of what might be happening, if you want to do this on the daily, if you're want to see this, but basically, if we're looking at this right now, this is a 700K loan, 20% down in California, 700 credit score, 30-year fixed rate at 5%, 15 only a little bit shy, 10-6 arm. This is where we're seeing a lot of benefits, and once you run someone's actual credit and get them at the pre-approval level, these three numbers can change and they can separate a little bit. Like this 4.73 might drop to 4. We're seeing, a point to a point and a half difference on a 30-year fixed versus a, 7 or 10-year ARM. Quick thing here, if we take this now, again, with risk, that's where a lot of the rate comes in. Let's say we jump up to $1 million. It doesn't change too much. If we drop this guy down to only borrowing 300, it doesn't change much. So risk here is not changing that much based on price. If we come over here and we drop this guy down to, a bad credit score, which basically says this guy's riskier to loan to because he's got a lot of debt. He's got some late payments. He's got, his debt to income ratio might be higher, things like that. But that changes dramatically. We see a lot of first-time buyers here at 620 to 640. Ideally we jump up to 8. This guy, credit score at 800. He's borrowing at 547. Again, this is not too bad for right now. So this is pretty simple. These are where our rates are right now. We're still in the 5s. And then, so not changing too much, but this is a super easy tool for you to use. Get you the basics. It's not a pre-approval. It's just a good gauge of where rates are today. So let's see here. So talking about some products, we are seeing a ton of non-QM borrowers coming out of the woodwork. And this is very common in situations where we're dealing with high inflation. Entrepreneurial buyers, investors, people with money, they realize that buying into real estate right now and locking in a rate, even if it's not as good as it was a year ago, is still a great way to beat the potential for higher inflation. So non-QM stuff, these are bank statement loans. These are, high dollar loans, things like that. This one here, so we could qualify somebody, a self-employed, a real estate agent, another mortgage guy, a tax guy, a sales rep of some sort, someone working off a 1099 that doesn't have the typical W-2. We can qualify them using 12 months of bank statements. So if they have a lot of money going in to their bank, they're going to qualify for a pretty high loan if they also have good credit. If your borrower's been employed for 1 or 2 years, self-employment may be considered. Basically, as long as they're in the same line of work. So you're changing jobs, but you're still self-employed. You work for a different real estate company. You sell a different type of medical device, something like that. If for some reason you have a borrower that had a loss, they went through COVID and whatever they were selling wasn't as popular and they show a loss with their income. I had this just a little while ago and it was a big problem. It was too big of a problem for me to get this guy a loan. mostly because he didn't currently qualify for the price that he wanted. But the loss was not going to be the thing holding him back, because we can adjust for that, because the lenders right now are working with us on a lot of different things. And then, getting IRS transcripts, taxes, things like that. Any type of loan are three big ones: conventional, FHA, VA loans. We're not necessarily required to get those. So bank statement products, if you have a borrower that believes he has good income, but he doesn't show that on his taxes. I previously worked in the sports industry. I was a sales rep. I bought a lot of sample products, and a lot of times my taxes showed that I didn't make very much money because I wrote all that stuff off. If I had wanted to buy a house in those years, probably wouldn't have happened unless I used a loan like this. This is the most common product that I offer to my friends that are still in this industry, because they want to pay as little taxes as possible. Let me scroll up real quick here. This is a warning that I want to talk about, which is this is coming out a lot. Home Tap, Equity Partners, Point, and Unlock. These are three companies that are coming into the market offering basically their home loans in the form of these companies buying shares of your seller's property. So currently, any seller you meet with most likely owns and retains 100% control of that property. And if they needed cash, they could sell off some of the shares in their property based on today's rate. So the idea that you had a house that was worth $800,000 today and you needed a loan, but you didn't have the ability to make monthly payments, or you didn't want to, these companies would allow you to get up to about 20% of your equity in cash without payments. That sounds great, right? Now, it could be for the right person. What's going to happen, though, is there's going to be a 10 to 15-year loan set up in place that just sits at the back of your mortgage. And when that comes due, it's going to be a one-time payment. So they're not going to ask you to do anything. They're not going to make payments back towards your 20%. They're going to just let this sit back there, because now they basically own 20% of the shares of your property. Now, their goal is, and the way this works is, they're in this loan, they actually gain equity over time. And by the end of this term, and this comes due, you're going to actually owe anywhere from 30 to 40% interest, or 30 to 40% of your shares from your house. So it increases. That's basically how they cover their, let's call it, their interest, or that's how they're making the money. And that 25 to 35% higher is based on the market value in 10 years. So let's say, for example, this $800,000 house in 10 years was worth $1 million. Now, to pay this off, you owe them 35% of that $1 million, which is $350K. So 10 years earlier, you borrowed 160 to have to pay back $350K at once. Most people are not going to be able to do that. So the only option you would have is now a refi, and you're cashing them out and keeping your house, or you're selling your house off completely, hoping that you've handled finances in the interim, which is a long time, 10 or 15 years, being able to handle this loan, which is my reasoning for when this has been in a couple of conversations, and basically selling equity shares of your property to get a one-time loan or cash out is a horrible idea. So if you come across this, my feeling is there's very few people that could use this to their advantage. And it would be someone, I think, if there was anybody, it would be somebody that knew they needed this cash now, and they were going to sell their house within a year or two, because that would keep this final payout at the lowest amount possible. But this is something I came across. It's a little bit different than what I wanted that we usually talk about, but I felt like a little bit knowledge for you guys could be helpful. Who knows if you come into a situation like this? But equity sharing is a horrible idea, especially if you're selling it off for just to get a loan. You could easily get something similar to this in a HELOC type of a loan, or even if you cashed out and did a refi at a slightly higher interest rate, say you're at 3 right now and you had to jump to 5 to get 160K, you financially in 10 years, you would still be way ahead of this financial situation. So little warning, a little tool for you guys. And, rates aren't changing, but as I said last week, people don't buy based on rate. They buy based on the needs that are going on in their life. So real estate will continue.
Awesome. Thanks for that info. And yeah, that is what appears to be a good idea, but it's actually not. This could damage a lot of homeowners who think that this is a good product. So especially if they hold on to it for a while.
Yeah, and this upfront, this seems like a really cool idea. I can get a bunch of money. I don't have to make a payment, and then I'll just sell later. But the amount grows so much faster, and it's calculated off of future values, which again blows up the same way. Because you're going up even on a historic level, 3 to 4% over 10 years is still a massive change versus even if you were just paying 5 or 6% interest every month, over the same period of time. Or a HELOC where you borrowed, you went back and forth. You had a HELOC loan for 100 grand, and maybe you never borrowed at any one time more than 20 or 25 grand of it, even though you had access to more. And then you're putting money in and out as you go. Still a much better financial situation than this. Basically, there is no free money in real estate. There just isn't.
No. This is one that I think will sneak up on you. You'll put it in place, you'll kind of forget it's there, and then when you're ready to sell or need to, or maybe you don't, this guy comes out from the bushes and tackles you. And prevents that whole thing. This is almost as bad as a subprime mortgage back in 08, right?
Yeah, correct. So, and this is coming out of the kind of the stock market mortgage industry where these guys are trying to figure out how to get a piece of what's going on. And this is a great way to do it, but yeah, it's scary, so I thought I'd share it. If you guys have more questions, please hit me up. I do got to go to a doctor's appointment, so I will talk to you a little bit later, Travis.
Awesome. Sounds good. Right. Thanks for that info.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Yeah, you're right, Paul. It's like a huge balloon payment that is just never going to go away. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen now. And I'm going to talk about some time management strategies. Actually, before I do that, I wanted to make note, our marketer Leo had brought up a comment last week about websites. If you have a personal website, be sure that you have that it's handicap accessible. I could show you ours real quick. So you're gonna want to see some sort of little icon like this on your website. As for people with disabilities, so they can still access your website and the information that's on there. There are litigation attorneys going after real estate agents pretty hard with that right now. All they got to do is find your website, see that it's not handicap accessible, and they will send you a demand. So definitely, if you have a personal website, make sure that that website provider has that integrated into their website so you don't catch a huge fine or get caught up in something. Or there are third-party services out there that add this to your website. It is an additional cost. So if you're shopping websites out there, make sure that that is part of the service that they offer as a website provider. So that's my my warning to you guys. So they're after us all the time, trying to, you know, get money here and there. And this is an easy one for those litigation attorneys out there, to just find your website and just open up a case. So with that said, I'm going to go into time management strategies, which has nothing to do with that. So I thought this was a good one. I know a lot of agents are ramping up for the summer selling season. We're actually, you know, heading into it. I know there's been a lot of slowdown in the market in some areas. Don't let that stop you from your prospecting and everything else. I know it can be easy to slip into, you know, when you're a little slower, to just slip into maybe not working as hard because maybe it's a little slower around you or something. There's always something you could be doing to build business. And next week, I actually have a presentation started, and we're going to be going over some things that you can do. Basically, it's a post I came across. I talked with the writer of the post. He was a brand new agent, closed 31 sides his first 18 months, and he laid it out on what he was doing. So next week, I'm going to talk about that a little bit, some of the talking points, and hopefully that'll help everybody as well. So that said, here we go. So I talked to a lot of real estate agents. So we're growing pretty fast over here. I talk to real estate agents looking to join our company, and on a daily basis, we get 1 or 2 inquiries a day over here. So I talk to a lot, and it's a recurring theme of what's going on in the industry, what's going on with their business, whether they're slowing down, they've been slow, they're trying to break into the business. So I realize a lot that it's time management, and they're not managing their time well to build their business. So, you know, I hear a lot, you know, I'm too busy to prospect for new clients every day, but I want to sell more homes. Or I don't have enough business right now and I don't have anything to do. Either one of those, to me, is a time management issue. They're not managing their time properly and putting the proper things in place to help them keep business going and building, or to start generating business, whichever side of the coin they're on. So basically what they're trying to do is they're trying to fit their life into their business. But true entrepreneurship, which is what we all are as real estate agents, especially if we are in this business full time, or if we're looking to get, you know, transition into this business full time, is, you know, we're entrepreneurs. True entrepreneurship is building a business that fits into your life. So we don't want to be squeezing our business into our life. We want it to fit into our life. As entrepreneurs, we're free to schedule our own time and activities, and that's where we could fall short as real estate agents. Our mindset defaults to reacting instead of focusing on productive and profitable activities. So I like to call these the money-making activities. Working towards shifting your mindset to get focused on money-making activities. Look at your day with intention. Identify the time wasters in your day. Focus your time and energy on things that add value to your business and to your life. And this is something even before my real estate career, you know, when I was in the corporate world, it was, what are you doing to add value today? And I've brought that into my real estate business, that every day I'm working, I try and add value to my business in some way. It could be something super tiny or something big that I'm working towards. So each day I'm chipping away towards that big goal. But either way, every day I'm trying to add value to my business. So let's talk about time blocking a little bit. Time blocking is the process of scheduling your entire day or a work day into time slots so that you can fill up your whole schedule. You put all your hours to work for you in one way or another. Time blocking helps agents to create more time in their schedule to perform crucial business building activities. So let's talk about shifting your mindset. So every single thing happens in the now. You know, notice what you're focusing right now. Are you projecting into the future, or are you focused on what you didn't get done yesterday, or maybe what you haven't gotten done already this morning? You know, you want to focus on what you can get done. If you're constantly beating yourself up about what you haven't accomplished, shift the conversation with yourself to telling yourself what you can accomplish today. Every night I email myself must-dos for the next morning or for the day. And they are the top things. I don't email myself a laundry list of things. It's the must-dos for the day. And I knock those out first thing. It's the best thing to do. Get the hard stuff, the stuff you don't want to do, that call you don't want to make, that report you don't want to write, whatever it is, knock it out first thing, because then the rest of your day opens up. So that's what I would put in my time block schedule, is knocking out the must-dos. An easy way to get started, I use Google Calendars to set myself with reminders a lot, even if it's a recurring one, just to keep my day on track of things that I should be doing. But start by setting a timer to block out time for the tasks you want to complete for today, and allow nothing to get in your way of completing the tasks. That's when you're going to make progress. So let's say you want to do an hour of prospecting every day. An hour is kind of a long time for a lot of people to stay focused for a complete hour where they don't have a phone message they're replying to or anything else. So, you know, to get started, start with smaller increments. Start with 15-minute increments. You know, chunk that away, especially if you're just getting started with time blocking. It'll be much easier to remain focused for just 15 minutes, even if it's 4 15-minute periods or 6 15-minute periods, to get that time in there that you want for that task that you're going to be doing. So when you start with time blocking, it may feel difficult to focus on a single task for a long period of time. Start with 15-minute time block increments, then build up the length of your time blocks as your ability to focus on money-making tasks gets better. Let nothing interrupt you during this block time. This is the key point in time blocking, because it's so easy to get distracted, especially with your phone right next to you. So you don't want to look at your text messages, don't answer the phone, don't check your email, don't open social media. We're only talking 15 minutes here, 15-minute increments. So you'll find that your focus on that project, you're going to get a lot more done in those 15 minutes than you would if, you know, every 2 minutes you're checking your text message, or you're responding to a text message, or the phone's ringing. You know, just put it on silent, turn it upside down, put it next to you, don't pay attention to it, put it in the other room, whatever you got to do for you to be able to focus on the task at hand for the 15-minute period. You know, if you're constantly getting interrupted, if you're trying to focus for 15 minutes and you have the phone going and then their text message comes in, and, you know, it breaks your concentration. This can cause you up to 24 minutes of delay to get your brain back working, getting back into it, not to mention the time you're spending just dealing with whatever that message is, that phone call is, or whatever. So if you're not literally blocking out the time with no distractions, you're not getting anywhere with this. So next topic, get a handle on your week by identifying the dates and times that are non-negotiable. So start by blocking out your personal time first. For me, this is my non-negotiable time. This is time that I go, and I actually go for a run as many days a week as I can. I don't get it in every day sometimes. Well, my body doesn't want to run 7 days a week for one thing. I usually go for 4 to 5 days. This is a non-negotiable time for me. This actually helps me build my business by not being in it for about an hour a day. This is when I recharge my battery, my mental focus comes back. I usually go around 2 o'clock. So, you know, if you're not able to reach me around 2 o'clock, this is what I'm doing. I'm out there, you know, I'm on a quick run. I'm clearing my head. It gets me refreshed for the day. It keeps my mind focused. It clears, you know, it releases anxiety. This is what I do. That's not for everybody. This is what I do. Everybody's going to have their own things that they do. But you will become more productive when you get some rest, spend time with friends, family, actually get out and live a little. You know, constantly this grind lifestyle that is, you know, in our industry, this belief that's in our industry, it's really very toxic. You have to have downtime. And this is one of the first steps to fitting your business into your lifestyle, you know, is setting aside that personal time blocking that out. So what could it be? You know, block out 7 p.m. until the following morning, 7 a.m. You know, that remaining time, that's your work day. The other time is your personal time. Any time outside these hours would be considered overtime, you know, if you want to think of it this way. Overtime comes at a cost, whether you're working a 9-to-5 job or you're an entrepreneur and you're working your own hours. Overtime comes at a cost. It comes at a cost to your mindset, your lifestyle, your health, your relationships, your family. Yes, we put in a lot of hours, but we have to have the downtime. You know, if you're constantly working and even, you know, late at night and you're trying to get something done and you're kind of dragging and, you know, it's taking probably twice or maybe 3 times as long to complete that task that you're trying to do because it's late, you're burnout, you're tired, you're neglecting your family, your friends, everybody else. It's a really bad habit to get into. So, you know, usually by about 4 or 5 in the afternoon, I'm kind of done with projects. I'm burnout mentally. Even after my run, like I don't want to come back and get into a project necessarily. I can have lots of meaningful conversations with people afterwards for another few hours. But, you know, starting on a project, like I'm fresh in the morning. That's when I work on projects, tasks, prospecting, all that kind of stuff. The afternoon is more for conversations for me and setting up my day for the next day. So if you decide to work overtime, the value of that time should be worth more than the missed time from these things right here. So keep that in mind when you're working, when you're putting in, you know, 14, 16 hours a day. Is it really worth it? What are you missing? When you block out money-making time slots, that's when the magic happens. So block out as little as 1 hour every day to prospect to get started. Even if this has to be in your 15-minute increments. Now, I would recommend prospecting more than an hour a day, but if we're talking about just getting started, you know, start small. An hour a day, 5 days a week will make a huge difference in your business, 100%. Especially if you're time blocking that hour and you're getting actual work done. You're not checking social media, you're not checking text messages, you're just on the phone, on the computer, whatever it is, whatever your prospecting activity is that day, you're spending an hour devoted time towards it. This should be a non-negotiable time block for you each day, 5 days a week. So your prospecting time is a non-negotiable time slot. Think of your prospecting as a consistent plan to nurture and generate prospects who are in need of your services. Schedule time every work day to reach out to your database, your SOI, you know, cold leads, warm leads, whatever it is. You have to pause in your business if you have a pause in your business right now, or you don't know where to start. There's several business building ideas and activities you can try. I just listed out a few here. You know, if you're wanting to start with some time blocking, here's some stuff you can do. Call or visit people you know, canvass neighborhoods through cold calls, printed pieces, door knocking, contact the owners of expired listings for sale by owners. There's actually a lot of for sale by owners out there right now. You know, they're trying to maximize all this equity they've got. They think the home's going to sell, it's going to fly off the market. I don't need a real estate agent. now's a good time to reach out to those people because they're probably feeling it a little bit. If the market has slowed in their particular area, they're probably wondering why their home isn't selling, why it's not being shown. And that's because things have changed a little bit. And most homeowners don't know that. We know that as real estate agents, we feel it. We're in it every day. Call former satisfied clients, ask for referral or online reviews. Online reviews, is it a money-making task? For me, it is, because it's reinforcement. When I'm pitching to a prospect and I say, hey, go ahead and check out my online reviews or something, I already know that they're good, and I already know that I have online reviews. And you'd be surprised, a lot of them do go and check, and that will help earn the business. So think about doing that, once a week or something, at least working that in to get your online reviews up. Host an open house for a FSBO or other listing agent in your area. There's a lot of listing agents out there that just simply don't want to hold the home open. They're busy doing other things. They don't want to. They don't find it profitable, whatever the reason is. But there's a lot of them out there that will be more than happy to let you hold their home open. And this is a great way to get out there, talk with people, generate leads. These are home buyers. A lot of them are first-time home buyers. If you're canvassing around there, you could get listings out of that as well. And it doesn't cost any money. Follow up on old leads, even leads from a year ago. If you had a prospect come in through some online marketing or something like that, they still may not have bought a home yet. And it could be a timing thing. So old leads, there's a lot of gold in those old leads. So, this is a good time to follow up with old leads. If you don't have any new ones to follow up with the old ones. Create a market update to share on social media weekly. I'm actually starting to see some of you do this, which is super awesome. It's awesome to watch. It's an easy one. We've been talking about data a lot, where to get data. If you miss those webinars, reach out to me. I'll show you what to do. But we have free data everywhere, super easy to get. To just do a 30-second or a minute long market update for your local area. These are really good ways to create authority in your market, that you are the authority in your market. That's what you're sharing with your social media. Your audience there is, I know what's going on in my market, and this is how I'm going to help you navigate it. There's a problem and a solution. That's what you want to cover in those videos. Here's where we're at. Here's how I can help you. Create neighborhood walkthrough or drive-through videos. These are super easy. If you're not ready to, turn that camera around and have it on your face yet, even doing neighborhood walkthroughs and drive-through videos where you have the camera faced out, you're just narrating, those go a long way, especially with YouTube or Facebook Lives. You can do Facebook Lives. You can upload them into Facebook, wherever. You put them everywhere you want, but I would definitely put them in YouTube for SEO purposes, because those will stick and they're there for a long time. That neighborhood's not going to change much in the next 5 years. So these are things that people look for when they're looking to relocate to an area, or maybe they're in an adjacent neighborhood and they've been thinking about moving into, a different neighborhood because of schools or amenities or whatever it is. Your walkthrough video is there for them. So my point with that is, you may not get a lead that day from it. The lead may come in later on, months, even a year or two down the road for what you created that one day. Create pros and cons videos or other media pieces of living in certain areas. There's a lot of agents out there. I don't want to say a lot. There's agents out there. It's a small portion of agents out there that are doing really well off of YouTube. And they're doing the pros and cons of living in certain areas, state by state, region by region, city by city, area of city. They're comparing different areas of cities based on tax rates or schools or amenities or walkability. This is stuff that they're creating. And they're getting leads from it because people seek out these videos when they're looking to move into these areas. Create videos on new construction projects in your areas. If you're in an area that actually has some home building going on, my area is a little sparse, but there's other areas around me that definitely have new construction happening. Super easy to get this information, keep people up to date with, phase releases and different things like that. That's an easy one. Work on a digital footprint. What is digital footprint? Well, if someone Googles your name plus realtor or real estate agent or just your name, what comes up? Nothing. A couple things. People look at this stuff, especially if you're sending out mail pieces or any kind of advertising. They're going to Google your name a lot of times to see what comes up. So the free ones out there, you definitely want to do this to the consumer search portals, your Zillows, your Realtor.coms, your Home.coms. Basically, type in homes for sale in your city and whatever third-party search portals come up, see if you can put an online profile on there. So that way there, when people Google your name, you're going to start having all these bios and everything else pop up. Be involved in your community, charity involvement, volunteer work, community activism, schools, churches. This is a great, great, great way to feel good about what you do and to build your business and get referrals. These are great referrals. People want to work with like-minded people and people that are helping out with their organizations. So this is a really, really good one. I see a lot of agents get a lot of business from this, and they don't really do a whole lot of other stuff. It's just through networking. Leo brought up digital business cards too for social media and SMS. Yes, those are big ones. I think Leo's been actually making digital business cards. So if you're wanting a digital business card, reach out to him. I'll have him, he can throw his contact down there in the chat if you guys are interested in digital business cards. And I believe they'll show up in searches as well, depending on how you do it. Join Facebook groups that interest you or where prospects can be found and participate in conversation. It doesn't even have to be real estate related. I know a few of you actually run some Facebook groups that are just hobbies, but you've turned it into a group, you're sharing. There's a lot of prospecting in there because, again, you're networking with like-minded people and they want to work with people who are like-minded as well. So think about that in your Facebook groups because the topics come up about real estate quite often, even if it's not a real estate related group. Attend networking events, even if they're realtor networking events. These are good places. You can get referrals from agents who are out of your area. Even here where I live in San Diego, we have North County and then San Diego. And up here in North County, it's almost like we're in a different county than San Diego. It's completely different up here. A lot of those San Diego agents further south, they don't even want to do business up here. And it's literally a 20-minute divide. And that's just how it is. And a lot of these North County agents, they don't want to drive down to San Diego. So they'd rather refer the business down there than to drive and show homes and do all this every day when it could be a 45-minute or an hour drive just to San Diego from here, depending on traffic. So even within your own county, you can get referrals from agents that just don't want to drive that far. Attend caravans, pitch sessions to make connections with other realtors. Think referrals and relationships for helping put deals together. So this is a good thing to time block out. Most realtor associations have their caravans and their pitch sessions on the same time and day every week. If that's something you want to incorporate into your business, block out that time to go to these events as a non-negotiable time, because especially in tight markets, a lot of deals are getting done at these caravans, between these agents who see each other every week and they're like, hey, do you have any off markets? I do. Hey, let's put this deal together. I have this buyer. On the flip side, when the market slows down a lot, because it's going to slow down, we're going to get deeper into this shift. You can also put the deals together there too. If you're pitching your listing there, maybe you're offering an agent bonus. We might start seeing these come about again, where there's a bonus for bringing in a buyer this week. this is where you want to pitch that stuff, because, when the inventory ticks up, which it's going to do, there's going to be a lot more to choose from, and you want to make sure your listing's in front of them. So these caravans and pitch sessions, these are great to attend, even if you can get in there, once or twice a month. Work it into your time block. Attend a class to further your industry knowledge. If you're a member of any local board, they have classes every week. These are good networking events. You usually get a free lunch, and you're furthering your knowledge in the industry. I think this is a great time block to put this in once a week, once a month, whatever it is, to further education. Connect with large local employers to be the relocation specialist for incoming, outgoing employees. So maybe part of your time block is reaching out to corporations, see if they have a real estate agent that they're working with who, is their relocation person, whether incoming or outgoing. This is something a lot of agents don't think about, but there's tons and tons and tons of businesses out there, lots of big ones, especially here in California. So think about reaching out to HR departments to get in as a relocation agent. I did find an example of a time block calendar. I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but this is someone who put in their life into a Google Calendar, basically. I mean, they start with get the kids ready for school, 7 to 8 p.m. or 8 a.m. Obviously, this is a time block, taking calls and doing all this stuff and text messages while you're trying to get kids ready for school. Again, it's affecting your family. The time is there to be spent with the kids, getting them ready, make sure lunch is ready, whatever you do, that's this person's time block. Then they block out, drive to the office, so on and so forth. So make your own, set up your day, even if it's just your work day and the rest of it's personal time, that's your time block, but set it up, and do your prospecting during your awake time. Some people are more awake, in the afternoon or late morning. For me, usually right about, 9 o'clock is when I'm the freshest in my mind. I've had my coffee, and I'm just ready to go. That's when I get into projects and everything. So be in tune with yourself, figure out when your awake time is, and schedule that for your prospecting or your high level time block activities, your high level money making activities to time block for. So you'll see that every day is filled, but it's not extremely detailed. There is going to be gaps in there or things where you're like, oh, well, I don't need to update a listing right now. I don't need to spend, 15 minutes updating listings. So you can do other things during that time. As you can see, many of the blocks are vague, such as follow up potential buyers, document preparation. You don't have to make everything super, super detailed. There are many small tasks that fall under both of those blocks. However, rather than adding every activity to your calendar, group similar ones together to give you the flexibility to catch up on different areas of your business. And just a few tips, be sure to create separate calendars for significant categories of tasks in your life. Having distinct calendars can make a massive difference versus having one calendar where you lump everything together, like have a work calendar, a daily routine calendar, an appointment calendar. Color code different tasks within your calendar. Color coding will help you keep even more organized and point out things that may be high impact or require driving. So maybe your money-making tasks are all green color coded. So at a glance, you're looking at it, you're like, okay, it looks like I have all my money-making tasks set out for the week. This is good. Driving time, things like that, you can have that in there, maybe a different color. Family time, maybe that's a different color. Leave room to breathe, don't schedule, the end of one task at 8 and then the beginning of another task at, 8:01. Leave a little time in there to, go and do things, eat, use the restroom, get some water, something, leave a little time in there to breathe. And then even though you're blocking your entire day, don't put tasks so close together you can't miss a minute before the next off before being off track. Find the pace that will suit your life best. Again, we're fitting our business into our lifestyle, not the other way. So, you know, if you find yourself, you know, moving at a slower pace because you're enjoying things, you golf, you do this, you do that, you know, make your calendar accordingly to how you want to live your life as well. And then don't create too many little time blocks. So looks like Leo posted up in the chat as well, if you guys can access that. He said here's an example on Google spreadsheet too for some ideas. So he's got a Google spreadsheet he's sharing with you about some time block activities and other things. So, so that's all I have for today. Hopefully that helped a little bit. We'll send out this recording as usual. And then if you ever want to, you know, schedule some time and go over calendars, marketing plans, anything like that, reach out. I'm always around. Other than that, hopefully you guys have a great week, and we'll be in touch.